Welcome back to the ballpark here at Jackson Field. Tyler Henry alongside you. We head to the home half of the fifth inning. UNC had very different third and fourth innings. The third inning was great. A solo shot by Gitter, an RBI double by Josh Glenn. They took a 2-0 lead. The fourth inning, not so great. 10 pitches, 3 strikeouts. Blake Tweed, Billy Moreland, and Aiden Leahy down in order. But now it'll be 9-1-2 as we get back to the more dangerous part of this Bears lineup. Shaden Kubo, who flew out to right field, will lead things off. First pitch on the way. Kubo thought about it, but left it in the dirt. And the count goes to 1-0. Another inning coming up here for Jesse Schmidt, who will very quickly deliver a strike. Both of these pitchers work at a pretty good pace. I think one thing we saw during that North Dakota State series, some of those guys really took their time as this ball is going to be taken to second, and it's going to be botched. Still a chance to recover, not in time. Shaden Kubo is aboard here, and that'll be an error on Morales as UNC puts a runner on here with nobody out. That is more or less a routine play out there at second base. Morales has got to have that, but he leaves it short, and that's all it takes for Northern Colorado to get a man aboard. And now things really start to get dangerous. Jake Gitter, Ben McKay, Sam Leach, Josh Glenn. Your next four due up, and Gitter digs in from the left side. First pitch on the way. That'll be in there for a called strike one. Gitter so far has fallen behind in all 3 of his at-bats. A ground out and a solo home run for him so far. Schmidt working out of the stretch, tries a pickoff move over to first. We do know that Shaden Kubo has some pretty good speed, but at the same time, when you're faced with the decision of whether or not you want to try to run on Drew Sims, they may play this a little bit more conservatively all throughout the weekend. Another pickoff move over to first, and I don't know if they're worried about Kubo taking a lead or if this is just Jesse Schmidt, like many other pitchers in the conference, knowing who's at the plate and kind of thinking a little bit longer about what he wants to do with Jake Gitter. Especially after he took him deep just a few innings ago. Gitter swings on this one and flies it back to the street here for strike 2. So the count goes 0-2. I mentioned that when Josh Glenn got the RBI double, he took sole possession of first place in the conference in RBIs. Also worth noting, Jake Gitter, for the time being, also in sole possession of first place in home runs in the Western Athletic Conference with 7. Another pickoff move over to first. Kubo kind of just shakes his head. He's not even taking that big of a lead right now over at first base, but garnering a lot of attention here from Jesse Schmidt. Gitter stands in, no balls, 2 strikes. Schmidt looking to put him away. Here comes the pitch. That'll miss in the dirt. Count goes to 1-2, and this is where Jake Gitter starts to be awfully patient. One of the other stat categories he's up there in the WAC is walks. As guys do not like pitching to him, he's already reached 15 times on free passes to first base. Here comes the 1-2. That'll miss inside, gets back to the backstop. Kubo takes off, and he'll round the corner and hold up at second. So it's a passed ball here, and now a runner in scoring position with nobody out as UNC could really use some insurance runs here. And they have got the perfect part of the lineup to try to get that done up right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count on Jake Gitter. Ben McKay stands on deck, then Sam Leach. But one hitter at a time right now. Here comes the 2-2 to Gitter. That'll miss well outside, and the count worked full here by the UNC Bears center fielder. A walk is not the worst thing in the world here if you're Jesse Schmidt. It does put the double play back in action and give you an opportunity to maybe get out of the inning unscathed, but Jesse Schmidt is a competitor. I'm sure he's more likely to try to go right at Jake Gitter here, and I'll tell you what, do that at your own discretion. 3 balls, 2 strikes, runner in scoring position. Schmidt checks the runner, brings home the payoff pitch, and it's ball 4 to Jake Gitter, walk number 16 on the season, and UNC is cooking here in the 5th. Runners at first and second for Ben McKay. Talk about a guy who believes in the 3 true outcomes. Jake Gitter, more often than not this year. It's either a home run, a walk, or a strikeout. So Ben McKay will stride to the plate. So far this season, I mentioned he has really righted the ship for himself. The junior hitting .322 on the season. So far, just 7 RBIs for him. I'm sure he'd love to tack a few more on here. Great opportunity for the Bears. Runners at first and second. Nobody out in a 2-run lead here in the home half of the 5th. They will throw back down to second, nothing doing, as Shaden Kubo back in safely. I need a button that just says Shaden Kubo back in safely. I feel like they've tried to throw him either at first or second base. That's got to be at least the 6th time since he's reached. He's going to get tired just running back and forth between the bag and his leadoff spot. Here comes the first pitch, squaring to bunt, laying it down beautifully there is McKay, and they don't know where to go. They throw to first. Everyone's safe. A little mental mistake there, as not really fully prepared for that was Jesse Schmidt. He tried to go to third. There was no chance he was getting Kubo, and by the time he turned his shoulders, the very speedy Ben McKay was already safe at first. So everyone moves up 90 feet. That puts Kubo at third. It moves Gitter to second. And it puts Ben McKay at first base on a bunt single. And here comes Sam Leach. Sam Leach has had a hit in each of his last 16 games. As the infielders come in, now would be a phenomenal time for him to extend that streak to 17. First pitch on the way. That'll miss outside. He's also going to have an opportunity here to do something you don't see very often at the Division I level, and that's give himself some run support. Keep in mind, Sam Leach is the pitcher today. He can drive in a couple of runs here and help his own cause. You don't typically see this, but he has that opportunity now. Corner infielders are in. Middle infielders back at double play depth. Bases loaded, 1-0 on the way. Swing and a miss for strike one. Jesse Schmidt is really starting to labor here in the 5th inning, as he has now got his pitch count up to 77. Approaching the 80 mark, and again, still not through the toughest part of the order for UNC. Josh Glenn and Matt Burkhardt still haven't come up to bat in the inning yet. Here comes the 1-1 to Leach. That's going to be swung on and taken into right field. It'll have a chance to drop it at will. That'll score at least one. They'll hold the runner up, so it's going to be an RBI single, and they cut it off. Now they've got a rundown between first and second. Runner breaks for home. Now Gitter's caught in a rundown between third and home. Gitter backpedaling. He has an opportunity. Now he'll break for the plate. He's going to be tagged out. They throw back to second, and they're going to say not in time. Everyone else is safe. What a wild sequence here. At the end of the day, it's just going to go down as an RBI single for Sam Leach, who does extend that hitting streak to 17 games. UNC takes a 3-0 lead. And just to catch you up on all the other nonsense that happened there, Shaden Kubo comes across to score. Jake Gitter gets thrown out in the rundown. And I don't know about that at second base. That was awfully close, but for the time being at least, they're going to say Ben McKay is safe. So runners at first and second for Josh Glenn. What a wild sequence of events here at Jackson Field, as now we've got umpires, coaches, players, and hitters all over the place trying to sort out what just happened. That might be the wildest call I've ever had to make. As Sam Leach, I think more than anything, is just happy to be standing on first base. Now a 17-game hitting streak for him. And you can see Coach Eric Madsen out having a word with, I believe, the umpire that called the runner safe at second. Ben McKay, it was close. I mean, he was right there. But this one of those situations where if it's called safe on the field, they're probably not going to overturn it, and that's exactly what happens here. So again, just to catch you up, 3-0 here. Shaden Kubo scores. Jake Gitter is out. Ben McKay at second. Sam Leach at first. And here comes Josh Glenn, the Western Athletic Conference RBI leader, ready to try to make some more magic for the Bears here in inning number 5. Just one out and a runner at second. Here comes the first pitch, and he will foul this one back to the dugout for strike one. This is one of those golden opportunities that UNC cannot let pass them by. These are the innings that they need to capitalize on, as Glenn digs in, looking for more. An RBI double for him already this game. Here comes the pitch. This one's going to be swung on and taken out to right once again, tracking it. It's going to get down in fair territory, and that should score at least one run. Glenn's going to turn, and he will hold up at second. They'll hold the runner at third, throw to the plate, not in time, and it's going to be another RBI double for Josh Glenn, who pumps the fist at second base. The Bears lead it 4-0, and they've got runners on second and third here. with one away in the inning, and here comes Matt Burkhart. That ball just continued to carry out to right field. Marco did a good job of chasing it. He had an opportunity, but not quite able to make the catch. And the good speed there of Ben McKay, who had to hold up at second to come all the way around and score. If there was a little bit more on that, it probably scores too, but still a beautiful situation here for UNC, as now looks like Coach Madsen's going to come out and have a word with his hurler. Now there is somebody up and warming in the bullpen, and we'll see whether or not this is going to be a call. It will be. So that will be the end of the line for Jesse Schmidt, who is pulled in inning number 5. We'll get you an update on the new pitcher into the game when we come back. You're watching UNC Bears baseball. They lead at 4-0 here on the WAC Digital Network. Welcome back to Jackson Field here in Greeley, Colorado. New pitcher coming into the game. It'll be Logan Pettit. We'll get you a word on him here in just a moment. But again, just to set the scene for you, UNC is going to have runners at second and third. It'll be Sam Leach 90 feet away from the plate. Josh Glenn will be at second base. And right now, Utah Valley just doing anything that they can to try to stop the bleeding here, as they did make the decision to leave Jesse Schmidt out for another inning. So far, that decision has proved to backfire, and now coming into the game to try to do something is Logan Pettit. Pettit has been one of the better pitchers so far here for this Utah Valley team. A 3.52 ERA for him, 5 appearances this season. He's thrown just shy of 8 complete innings. He's given up 3 runs on 5 hits and struck out 10 batters compared to only 7 walks. But anytime you get thrown into a situation like this, the nerves can definitely be a little bit more intense. We'll see if UNC can capitalize, and more importantly, they've still got a good part of the order up at the plate. It'll be Matt Burkhart, then Blake Tweed, and then if needed, Billy Moreland and Aiden Leahy. This is a golden opportunity, as I mentioned, for Northern Colorado to try to pad on to what has already turned into an excellent lead. 4-0 up on another team that is also looking for their first conference win. Again, both of these teams looking for win number 1 in the conference and looking to end a really rough losing streak. 14 losses in a row here for Utah Valley, 9 losses in a row for UNC, but the Bears are within striking distance here, especially if they can pad some runs on now to try to break those 2 streaks. Here comes the first pitch, and that's going to be swung on and taken up the gap. That'll score at least 1 run. They'll hold the runner up, keep the line moving. RBI single for Matt Burkhart, and the Bears are up 5-0 here in the 5th. The hit parade just will not stop here for UNC. They are absolutely killing it here in inning number 5. That'll slide Josh Glenn over to third base, runners at the corners, and here comes the true freshman Blake Tweed, who is still looking for his first hit today. So far for UNC, Tweed, Moreland, and Leahy, the next 3 guys due up, are the only 3 guys in the lineup to not reach base. Tweed is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out, but we've all seen what he's capable of. Right now, the wind blowing straight in from center field as he takes a big swing and a miss. And that'll be strike 1. Tweed this season, his numbers were not enough to really have an average early on in the year, but now he's played in 15 games. He started 11 of them. And he is batting a cool .211 so far in his freshman year. Quick throw over to first, nothing doing, just trying to keep the runner honest. As again, UNC looking for more runs here in inning number 5. This has been the biggest inning of the day for either team. Sam Leach is spending an awful lot of time resting up as there's a big swing and a miss. Tweed looking for a lot, comes up with nothing, and he falls behind here 0-2. Just needs to settle in a little bit here, as he'll have to get protective. It's easy, especially for a freshman, to get a bit sped up in a game like this. See if he can calm his nerves. 0-2 pitch on the way. This one swung on, taken to third. It's going to be bobbled. They'll throw the short way, and that is going to be in time for out number 2. They do manage to eliminate Burkhart at second, but that's going to be an RBI fielder's choice here for Blake Tweed, who is aboard at first. So now a 6-0 lead for the UNC Bears, and here comes Billy Moreland, who is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Josh Glenn comes in to score. That does close the book on Jesse Schmidt, as the first pitch is in there for a called strike. Schmidt completes 4 1/3 inning, He gives up 6 runs, all of them earned on 4 hits. He also walked 4 and struck out 5, and now everybody on base, or I should say the one guy on base, is responsible to Logan Pettit, who delivers strike 2. Not messing around here, trying to get his team out of the inning, but the damage may already be done. UNC with a monster 5th inning here. Pettit sets, the lefty kicks and deals. That's going to be weakly chopped foul, and staying alive here is Billy Moreland. If needed, Aiden Leahy on deck. I'll tell you what, this inning could also have been a lot worse for Utah Valley had some breaks not gone their way. They were able to eliminate Jake Gitter in the rundown, and they were able to get the lead runner in Matt Burkhardt on that fielder's choice by Tweed. We could certainly be talking about 2 runners in scoring position right now, as this pitch is going to be, well, they call it strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. Moreland completes the hat trick. 3 strikeouts for him on the day, but it may or may not matter. 4 runs for UNC in the inning. They take a commanding 6-0 lead on the Wolverines of Utah Valley. When we come back to the 6th inning we go, more UNC Bears baseball is right around the corner. You're watching it right here on the WAC Digital Network.